Okay, we'll finish off this content box by adding the final few text areas down here. And we'll just fill this in with Lorem Ipsum text for now. So again, let's group everything into this callout box before we get too far in here to keep our layers tidy inside of Photoshop. So we have our callout box, and now we have these layers that we use to create our button. So we'll get all these layers and group those together. Again, those all make up our button. So we'll call that callout button, and we'll place that button inside of the callout box. Now that's going to make it disappear, because when you grab a layer or a group and drag it inside of another group, it automatically assigns it to the very bottom. So we need to come into that group, select that, and then drag that back up to the top so it's above that base and not below that base. All right, so now we have our callout box, and we can easily toggle that on and off, and that's working out pretty nice. So now we're going to add in our text. So we'll just get our type tool here, and we'll grab out a size of text here, and I'm just roughing these in, but really they should be aligned just to the edge. All of our text should be the same. The left and the right margins and padding in here should be the exact same. So as I'm creating these text boxes, I'm just being a little bit nonchalant in the way I'm creating them, but you would definitely want to create your text boxes pixel perfect and drop some guides so that they all start and end at the exact same spot. So I've created this one here, and I'll move this one down, and I'm going to paste some Lorem Ipsum in there so we can see it, and then I can see as I'm moving it down. So I'll move it down into here, and I'm going to change the size of that Lorem Ipsum and bring that size way up to 24. That's maybe just a hair big, maybe 18-point font inside of there. That's a Myriad Pro, and I'll probably make that semi-bold. And I'm going to borrow this text box I just created and hold down Option and click and drag along with Shift to drag another box down. And we'll double click this one. Maybe we'll bump this one back to regular and back down to maybe 12 point. And we'll probably extend this one out a little bit. And let's drag down another copy of this. So, whoops, have the wrong thing selected there. Have too many Lorem Ipsums to tell which is which. So there's the one we're working with right now. So we're going to actually create the other one manually, because this will be maybe like a block quote or something like that. So let's indent this one into a block quote format. Paste some Lorem Ipsum into this box, and we'll highlight this all. And we'll choose the color green here, and we'll maybe bump this up to 14. And we'll set this up in there a little bit. And then we'll grab another copy of the one right above it and bring that one down. And then maybe one more copy. Whoops. One more copy of this we'll bring down right here to make that one long. And that's pretty much it for our body copy. So we just kind of filled that in maybe with a little bit of content that may exist inside of there. And that's pretty much it. So we can grab these little pieces right here and maybe nudge those all up just a hair. And the couple final things we'll do to this mock-up is create just a few finishing touches. One such is going to be the outer box here. Now this main content box, this white thing that we started with, let's add a little bit of a shadow to this. So we will minimize this, and it looks like those were created inside of the web design group. I actually want to pull those out. So all these layers looks like from here to here, we want to group together. We'll just call this body copy, and we'll pull outside in its own layer there. So all that body copies together. Now let's come down here and find this content sidebar, and we'll find our BG right below it. So again, the BG is this main background that goes around the entire site essentially. So we're going to add a layer style to this background shape. So we'll come into the FX menu and go into drop shadow. And we'll pull this drop shadow's distance all the way to 0. And we're going to increase the size a little bit there. And then maybe just back off the opacity a little bit. So that's just adding, you can kind of see if we zoom in here, I'll pull over to one of these corners. You can see it just adds a little bit of a shadow there to kind of make it look like the site is lifted ever so slightly off the page. So all the corners will have that drop shadow, and we'll hit OK there. Go back to 100%. And let's zoom out a little bit so we can kind of take in the entire site. We'll slide this over. I'll push F twice on my keyboard to take me into full screen view. Command 0 to take me into view to fit, so you can kind of see what the entire site's going to look like. Command 1 takes you back into 100% view. Command R gets rid of all those rulers. And you can kind of take in the site and look and see how it's looking. And we're going to call this complete for the design portion of this project. So we kind of started out with our wireframe. We went through quite a few little tools in Photoshop, do some custom designing of icons, quite a few layer styles, and this is complete. The next portion of this series is going to be take this mock-up and convert the entire thing into a valid HTML and CSS website. We'll use HTML5, we're going to use some CSS3, some of the latest trends in web design with responsive designs, and that series is coming up next.